The Frankly Speaking Roof Cam, brought to you by Boss Security in Horseheads. Contact them today for all your business home security needs. Welcome back to Frankly Speaking here on WYDC TV Big Fox. I'm your host, Frank Acomb. We are broadcasting from the Hesselson studio, and in that studio, it's so nice to welcome back Steuben County Chair Kelly Fitzpatrick. Thanks for being on the show.
I am very happy to be here. Thank you so much.
So we're doing one about once a quarter now. So you got a lot to fill us in on.
I have been working really hard.
You have been.
And I'm learning to juggle all of the responsibilities much better and want to make sure I keep my constituents and the county informed on what's going on.
I'm so glad you could come on because it seems like I'm seeing more and more press releases about positive news coming out of Steuben County. You guys have been working hard.
We have been working very hard. And after having one term as the chair, and I stepped into the second term and got a unanimous vote from the legislators, I feel empowered.
I'm sure you do.
And there are things that we need to do, and we are going to get them done.
What did it feel like going into that night? Did you think you'd get unanimous?
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of anyone that was running against me, but it was just a really good pat on the back and a good vote of confidence from the group. So I felt much better about the direction of the legislature and our ability to work as a collaborative group.
Yes. Now I want to start with, because there's so many breaking kind of stories coming out, but I want to start with one that's a little bit older news, just because we talked about it numerous times on this program, and that was this misinformation that came out. And I want to get your perspective on it, that we were going to have an ICE detention center built in Steuben County. How shocking was that news to you?
That was really shocking because
it's not true.
That is certainly not our intention. It all stemmed from the arrangement that we have with the federal government for housing federal inmates.
Right.
And it's just a temporary measure where we can put in some of the inmates. We get paid on a daily basis for however many inmates we have.
Right.
And it's a nice little revenue to help offset the cost of the jail. So because it coincided with us cooperating with ICE, it was blown well out of proportion and got everybody worked up.
Well, when I first saw it, I knew, when something doesn't smell right.
Yes.
I mean, I'm close enough to it, talking with you, talking with the sheriff, talking with so many people. Well, this just isn't the case. When you look at it, it was actually a positive for us that we were increasing the money that we could get.
Yes.
So to me, the problem I had with it, and I still do, it still kind of boils my blood. If you want protesters to come to the legislative meeting, don't lie to them to get them there. And that's what that ultimately felt like to me.
Yes, it feels like there is a lot of information that is out there, and it's meant to get people scared or mad. And when you're scared or mad, you're willing to voice whatever that opinion might be. And it's wrong. Give people the information, let them make an informed decision.
Right.
To a certain degree, if there are immigrants that are picked up that are here illegally and they get detained at our facility, I would trust the sheriff and our jail staff to take much better care of them than they might be taken care of in Batavia or elsewhere.
Exactly.
So to a certain degree, I certainly would trust the sheriff to do whatever needs to be done and take care of everybody in a very humane manner. So to think that we would do anything otherwise, it shows a lack of information, first on our part, and then people just love to be the keyboard warriors. If they get something and you get worked up about it, we've got to shout at the top of our lungs when that is really not necessary.
I agree, and that leads to the public comment section is very important, part of our system. But sometimes it can get unruly, and in this situation, you have I don't know how many people showed up. Let's say 100 people, all reading kind of from the same script. How do you deal with that at the legislature? Because this is happening every meeting now.
It is happening at every main meeting. We have quite a few people signing up for the public comment period. And fortunately for us, it hasn't really been unruly at all.
Okay, good.
The people who have spoken have been very respectful. And in fact, at this last meeting, they were actually quite helpful. Several of them spoke against the ICE agreement that we have. But then we also had public hearings on a few other things. One of those is called the Environmental Management Council. It's a council that was formed in 1971, and it used to meet for various environmental issues, obviously.
Yeah.
Two of the people that were there speaking against ICE actually happened to have served on that committee way back when. And we were just going to abolish it because it hasn't been used in decades.
Sure.
So they spoke about it and they said, under the circumstances with all the things going on with the environment, maybe we should take a second look.
Oh, interesting.
And because of that input from the public, we tabled the resolution and we are taking a second look. So yes, they're speaking about something that we at this point, trust the sheriff and trust that what we are doing is the right thing, but they had the opportunity to speak about something else.
Yeah.
More of the people should listen to our meetings and come and speak when it's an topic that they're passionate about.
Yeah, and constructive when it's when it's not just a one way.
Yes.
Right. It's very nice to hear. I love when in Irwin when people have things that you may not even be aware of. Steuben County is a big area.
Yes,
so
it
they
is.
can say, well, this is an issue in our neighborhood. This is an issue in our neighborhood. Those are really helpful. Reading from a script to me doesn't help anybody. It just kills some time.
And a lot of the issues and the things they're concerned about didn't even happen in our area.
Right, well, exactly.
And that is the main thing that I would say. If you want a different outcome, you add different ingredients to the mix.
Right.
And particularly when they quote the actions in Minneapolis, their law enforcement didn't participate.
Exactly.
Our law enforcement is going to participate, and I truly believe with all of my heart they would de-escalate any of those situations.
Totally agree. Yeah.
ICE is going to come whether we participate or not.
Exactly.
And why not be there to be the voice of reason when it's needed to be there?
I couldn't agree more. But moving on from there, since we were talking about the sheriff, anything up on the appeal?
The appeal was heard at the judicial court last week.
Okay.
So we should get a ruling from them sometime in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. And I am very excited to potentially have that issue behind us.
I'm sure.
I'm sure he is as well.
I'm sure.
We just want to get to the business of the county business. And I spend more time when I have a question for the sheriff actually calling him and saying, hey, can I come out and have a meeting with you?
Absolutely.
I'll bring my vice chair, perhaps a couple of other people, and we talk out any of our disagreements, and I feel like it just makes for such a better environment.
I agree.
Email can be misread, misquoted, and taken the wrong way. So it's much better to speak in person, and I think he appreciates that far more than anyone would ever really let on.
I'm sure. I totally agree. Boy, we've all got that text message or email that we totally took the wrong way.
Absolutely.
In person's always better. All right, so let's talk about some of these great positive stories. First of all, and I just saw Valino walk by, Mr. Sludge himself. I shouldn't call him that, but this guy has been so passionate about this.
Yes.
And you guys have taken up, and I know everybody's working together, not just him being passionate. Tell us about this new decision of the moratorium on sludge.
Very exciting to have finally gotten that through. You know, there is still question as to whether or not, with the Right to Farm Act, if we have the authority to pass the moratorium. But I told my legislators it's time for us to take a stand. We all know that there is something wrong with this. We all know something needs to be done. And if it takes this step for perhaps us to get into some kind of legal trouble over it, that is fine. Our county attorney is prepared and willing to take it to court if need be. It's really important. We need to recognize the fact that some of the things we are doing to our environment, it's damaging the environment. It's damaging ourselves. When are we going to take a step to stop that?
Right.
This is our first step.
I know, and even
It's
if
only 6 months, and it's only for new permits.
Right.
So it's a tiny step. So it's a tiny step for man.
Right.
But let's hope that we get the big step for mankind.
Right. What has the reaction been? Because I hear it's been overwhelmingly positive, but I'm sure you hear from some farmers perhaps. What's the reaction been overall?
It's been quite positive. The farmers I speak to are concerned because they need to buy fertilizer.
Right.
My question to them would be, chemical fertilizer is probably just as bad for the environment as the sludge is.
Right.
And so perhaps this will lead to something bigger and better. Perhaps it'll involve more investment in those digesters. They take the manure, put it in the digester, and it converts it to either natural gas or electricity. The technology that comes out of some of these things that force us to change is amazing. So all of the feedback that I have gotten on the moratorium is positive.
So when you've got a 6-month moratorium, what's the next process after that? So this is the time to discuss and kind of reflect on what you can and cannot do?
That is the time to discuss. It's also the time to maybe pressure the DEC to finish their research and their studies on this issue and issue some real guidance that will protect farmers, the environment, and the ultimate consumer.
Right. And then, this was breaking yesterday, the Animal Abuse Registry. I've been hearing about this all year. This just started this year, right?
That is correct.
Conversation.
There's steps for us that we have to take in order to pass a new local law. And so we first have to put it through committee. It was presented to the legislature a couple of months ago, and then we have our public hearing, and then we pass it.
Gotcha.
But there have been some horrible stories in the news about things that are happening to creatures that cannot take care of themselves. And we need to take a stand against that as well.
Ironically, there was a story, I don't want to give it any credence, there was a story that happened the day that the news broke that you had the animal abuse registry.
Yes.
And it was
I
a
thought,
horrific
there we
one.
go, our
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
person that,
Right.
if convicted, they will get their name on the registry.
And how does that work? How does the actual registry itself work?
It will be connected to the sheriff's app.
I love the sheriff's app.
We have already purchased the component to it that will help us track the animal abuser registry. So individuals and organizations will have access to it right on the app on your phone.
Okay. And if you're, I don't think anybody in this audience would ever be convicted of something like this. How long are they on the registry?
I believe the length of time on the registry is 7 years.
Oh, wow.
It's a long time.
Well, yeah, it should be.
Yes.
I mean, you hear, like you said, it's heartbreaking when you hear these stories of what some of these people are doing. Why even get an animal? I don't understand that.
I don't either. And the thing is, there is so much evil in the world.
I know.
And if you could do something to an animal when that animal can't really fight back that much, wouldn't really fight back, and can't speak for itself, that's shameful in my mind. So I definitely proposed this, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, actually before year end, and wanted it moving. Let's get this moving. So this is a very positive story.
I totally agree, and I've heard the updates, and you always wonder because you hear something that sounds like a good idea, but you wonder it'll come to fruition. But this sounds perfect with the sheriff's app. Everything was designed to make this work.
Yes. Once we got the ball rolling on it, the sheriff had already started looking because, of course, a lot of that kind of work rests on his shoulders, and it makes extra work for him. But we're prepared to support him in whatever he needs to make this happen. We had already taken over the animal cruelty officer duties a few years back. So this fits in well with that.
I can't imagine anybody's opposed to an animal abuse registry.
I would think not. I think the biggest issue with it will be, the area farmer that has a cat that has kittens and he just wants to give them away. You want a kitten, come and get it. That might be problematic, but it's still the right step.
I agree. So everything else, those are the big stories. Anything else going on that we should know about the Steuben County Legislature?
We've been trying to work with a lot of our partner agencies. One of our big concerns is that with the budget changes at the federal level and then the fact that the state can't pass a budget, we're concerned about what of those expenses are going to come down our way. Let's take, for example, SNAP benefits. When those benefits change and there's the work that you have to perform in order to continue to maintain your benefits, I think that that's going to be a problem. Not that I am objected to that. I as an able-bodied adult, would never want to be supported by somebody else. I don't know how you instill that into other people. These things are supposed to be safety nets for emergencies, or you need your bootstraps picked up, or you have a big family and you can't work to support all of them. It's supposed to be a safety net. It's not supposed to be a lifestyle.
I know.
So the problem with that is that we live in New York, and New York is a very liberal state, and we offer a lot of services and conveniences that other states don't offer. It costs a lot of money. I don't foresee the state, given its current legislative environment, adjusting those benefits downward to what can be afforded. So our concern is what is going to come down the line that we are going to be forced to pay for. So I've encouraged and wanted us to meet with ProAction, Meals on Wheels, food banks, food
Salvation
pantries.
Army.
Yes, all of the people that provide some of these support services. What can we do to make the service better? What can we do to get more bang for our buck? And how can we continue to support the people that need that support, and also more people if they end up needing it?
Right, because it's amazing to me, and this came up recently in numerous discussions on this program, whether it's Corning, Irwin, wherever, the homelessness issue too.
The homelessness
that's plaguing Steuben County.
It's a very big issue. In fact, at the county level, we look at it also, we have a lot of homeless people, and it costs just so much money in order to deal with this issue. So one of the things that we did during this last winter season was what's called a warming station. And of course, nobody wants one anywhere near themselves. But those same people don't want somebody living under a bridge freezing to death either. So you've got to have some kind of service that's offered. So that actually, the format of it is really great. It's not a hotel room where you're getting to have fun in a hotel over a weekend or whatever. It's a house. There is transportation. There is some security. They provide meals. It's similar to the format here in Corning at Bridges to Hope.
Yes.
Only it's not temporary housing. It's just a place to stay when the weather is below 32 degrees.
Right.
I think that you need more of those.
I agree.
I think that you don't want someone to freeze to death, but you don't want them so comfortable that they think it's a lifestyle choice. So warming stations are really the way to go. It's a lot less expensive for us to provide that service. And it also gives the person the opportunity to say, well, you're here helping me do this. I have this other issue. Can you help me with this?
Yeah.
They get transportation. We can introduce them to other services. I know the Bridges to Hope has on-site staff that can help if you need mental health services or maybe job career services
Addiction,
or
whatever,
any of those addiction services. We try to offer all of that. So it's really got to be a well-rounded approach, and we're going to try to save as many people as we can, recognizing that not everybody wants to be saved.
I know. And it's sad, but it is definitely, whether it's here in Corning or Irwin, it is the biggest talk, I would say, right now.
Absolutely. And every community has that level. Perhaps not in Jasper or Troopsburg, but Bath, Hornell, Corning, we all have those individuals, and we know who they are, that like to be on the streets, and they're going to be on the streets. And with the major New York Forward grant announcements in the village of Bath, they are really trying to crack down on what's going on in the village and the people that are hanging out on Liberty Street.
Yeah, and they just had an issue the other day with yesterday with a big fight in front of one of the hotels. I mean, it keeps adding up there in Bath.
I saw the press release, and it was 3 individuals that allegedly beat up the fourth.
Yeah.
And that person had to be airlifted.
Oh,
I mean,
my gosh.
the domino effect of the cost of homelessness, it affects everybody. And yes, we are civilized society. We want to take care of our people that live here. But at some point, I told the mayor, we need to have a meeting, and we need to beg for bail reform change.
Couldn't agree more.
Because there are people that are doing horrible things, and they are just constantly let out on the street. When did they become more important than the law-abiding, tax-paying citizens?
Yeah, public safety has become such a major concern, and that's why they all ties in hand to hand. But you had touched on something. How, at the legislative level, do you compare, just like I would ask somebody from the school district, when there hasn't been a New York State budget for almost 2 months? How do you prepare? I know you guys worked on your budget already, but this has got to be almost impossible to plan.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
I feel more sorry for the school districts
Of course.
because we have so many different sources of revenue and so many different things that we can do.
Right.
The other thing, we had our comptroller audit, and the big thing that the comptroller bashed Steuben County on was that we have too much money.
Right.
We have fund balance in reserve. We have reserves. Our financial position is extremely strong. And these are the situations why we have that.
Right.
And I said, if that's the worst thing that you can find on us, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I said, the state's probably jealous because we have a lot more money than they do.
What a mess. Boy, it's been fun to watch, though, huh?
I am almost ashamed
I know.
that they spend so much money and they're borrowing against 50 years in the future to pay for expenses today.
I know.
How is this a fiscal policy that makes any sense?
It's not. It's going to be a mess. But everything else is good. How's everything with you?
Yes, I have been training for the 8K.
Oh, are you?
We haven't been running down here in Corning, so I haven't waved at whoever was had their back to the window. So I'm excited about that. We are gearing up for the 250th celebration.
Yeah, that's going to be big.
We'll have a big celebration in the park the weekend of Labor Day.
Okay.
I got to go to Hammondsport over the weekend. They did the dedication of the Glen H. Curtis Park.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you haven't been down there at the lake, it is absolutely spectacular. And the best part, that was really swampland.
Yeah.
They cleaned it up. It's mostly private donation and some grant money, so it's not really taxpayer money.
Perfect.
And they have plans to continue to expand it and to grow. And it's really just a beautiful asset in the community.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the 250th. There's going to be a lot of events going on.
Yes, I'm very excited about those.
Yeah.
I've offered to meet with any of my legislators at their town and or village meetings. I figured it would be nice to actually go out and meet the town board members and other constituents from other towns. It's challenging because I have my own town and village to take care of. But I have Nick, and he is my cohort in the town of Bath. He can cover town of Bath, and I can go and visit some of the others.
Steuben's so big.
It is. It is a big community. EMS services have been doing well. We've planted them in areas where they desperately need it, and it will continue to grow. You know, the volunteerism in the state of New York is very difficult. In order to be an EMT, the education requirements are so substantial, you have a hard time getting volunteers to be able to do that. So
EMTs, and even we've talked about it with the fire department too. The volunteer is such an issue, and EMT in our rural area is so vital.
Oh my gosh. And if you have a medical emergency and you're waiting 20 minutes for an ambulance, that is not a good thing.
No, heaven forbid.
Not a good thing at all.
No. So I'm glad to hear that that's expanding. I knew that was a big topic last year, but you've given us so much time this morning. Thank you. Can we do it again soon?
Absolutely. I would love to.
All right. That's definitely before the 250, so we can promote the 250.
That sounds like a plan. I love it.
All right. We'll be right back with Frankly Speaking after this. Stay with us.